Hello, Facebook Live. Ken Course here, and I'm a little hot today, so let's turn that down a smidge. Welcome to another Facebook Live session. Giving it just a second, I just shared this on my personal profile, allowing people to join as well. And for those of you who do catch this on my personal profile who haven't yet subscribed to Explore Momentum or you're not familiar with it, make sure you like that page, facebook.com/Explore Momentum. And thanks to all of you who've been giving me great comments, great feedback, great questions. Again, leave those right on these videos. So if you spot this video and you're like, there was something that wasn't clear, there was something I don't understand, there was something I want more of, make sure that you let me know, and during this as well, because today I'm going to talk about basically the most popular buzzword in marketing right now. It's called marketing funnels. And one of the interesting things about funnels that I've noticed is that there are so many people that are talking about it. There's so much hype about funnels right now, and there's a good reason for that hype. But for most people, it's another one of those marketing buzzwords, marketing jargon words that a lot of people don't even really know what it means. And they need to know what it means. And you need to know what it's all about. Now, regardless of where you are in your business, doesn't matter whether you're a new business, doesn't matter whether you've been around a long time, this concept is going to apply to you because it's something that you're already doing. In fact, if you've been in business, if you've made one sale at all, and there may be some of you who haven't even made your first sale yet, but if you've made one sale at all, you've used the concept behind what we would refer to as a funnel in your business, in your life before. You've used it. And so, first of all, I like to simplify. You'll hear me talk about this on all my Facebook Live broadcasts and really in anything that I do, is that there's a lot of jargon that actually boils down into really kind of simple concepts. For those of you out there who haven't really played around in the marketing world, or you really didn't go into business to be a marketer. Now, the truth is, I've mentioned this on previous Facebook Lives, that it doesn't matter what your business is, doesn't matter what your product or service is, doesn't matter why you went into business. If you're in business, you're in the sales and marketing business. You have to make sales to make money, or you have to have a team that does it for you, and you have to generate new leads, start new conversations, create new interest in doing what you're doing. So both of those things you have to get done. It's just not optional. So it doesn't matter what your business is at this point. It just matters that you actually understand where you actually are at this point. So let's talk about funnels. And so I want to boil this example down to a typical conversation you would have with somebody. You know, the typical marketing example of being at a networking event or being at a cocktail party. So I'm going to use that same example because I want to simplify it down to the way that you speak or the way that you talk. So typically, when you walk up to somebody at a networking event or at a cocktail party, you're not immediately going to start talking about all your products and services. And anyone that would seem really strange if you met them at any event. If they just walked up to you and said, hey, I've got this book right here. I've got this website you need to sign up for. Give me your credit card. It comes off as kind of weird. Now, there are times where that might be appropriate if you're at a sales event or you're doing something where it's designed around that. But for the most part, it's weird. So what would you do in that conversation? Well, first of all, you want to find out interests. You want to say, all right, what is the other person's interests, or how can I engage them? Or if I'm overhearing a conversation, even better. If I walk up to a group of people at that cocktail party and they're all having a conversation, what are they talking about? Do I have any knowledge or expertise about what they're talking about at this point? Could I jump in on that conversation or provide something of value? So for the most part, those two things could possibly be happening. You could be walking up to someone who you don't know and thinking about how you engage them and get them talking, or you could be walking up to a group of people who are already talking. In a marketing example, you're going to be doing both of those things. You're going to try to find the person who's kind of waiting around that you can get to know by yourself, as well as find the people who are just kind of standing around, having conversations, people that are already engaged. In fact, my favorite types of audiences, and you'll find this to be true in any type of marketing, are where people are already gathered to have a conversation. And it doesn't necessarily matter what that conversation is about. So at a networking event, this is what's happening. You're starting to say, all right, so you have to think of yourself at the beginning of a marketing funnel before I even get into that term of saying, all right, there is a target group of people that I'm going to be having a conversation with, and I got to figure out how to engage them. I got to figure out good questions. I got to figure out how to chime in this conversation in a valuable way. And so marketing funnel, or that term, which again is another marketing jargon buzzword, is just a word for how do you organize that conversation. And even better, how do you organize that conversation to escalate in the right way? So you might start with a question that's just really casual, why did you come to the event? Or what are you looking to get out of this event? Or what type of business do you have? What type of business are you running? All those types of things would be things you would want to know about a person if you were meeting them at a networking event. So they'll give you some information, and during that, you're looking for, it doesn't matter what word you would use. I like the word anchors. It was a word that I've heard in sales training. Threads in the conversation is another word I like to use, but you're looking for things that they say that relate to you in general. Now, this may not necessarily jump right into the perfect conversation about your business, which a lot of people, it's kind of shocking how many people think, from that very first conversation, I'll find out the perfect thing about that person. I'll be able to make the perfect conversation, and I'll be able to take them right into an offer. For the most part, that's not going to happen. We're going to have to do some exploring. We're going to have to figure out, who are they? What do they like? What do they care about? Why are they where they are? And so in a funnel example, we're just saying, why are they where they are? So if we're looking at social networks, for example, we're looking at Facebook, we're looking at Instagram, we're looking at Pinterest, we're looking at LinkedIn. Everybody is at those networks for different reasons. And then, so it's the same as a networking party. What's the theme of the networking party? So if you're at Facebook, for the most part, you're there to connect with people you already know. If you're at LinkedIn, you're looking to make professional contacts, or you're looking to be in contact with people you work with now or you might work with. If you're on Instagram, you're looking to share pretty pictures and again, be parts of communities of things that you're interested in. Twitter, you're looking for stuff that's happening right now. You want to know what's going on right now, this minute, with people that you know, like, care about. And then finally, Pinterest, again, is you're part of a community, again, that's primarily women, that's designed around arts, crafts, hobbies, and again, imagery, key component of what you've got there. So why does all this matter, and how does this relate to marketing funnels? Funnels, again, is how we're structuring the conversation. So for me, when you're really going to get somebody to a point where they're going to do something with you, and in the marketing sense, this might be opting in to give you like an email address or contact info, all the way up through they might give you money for a big ticket sale. They might buy the big ticket thing you have for $5,000, $7,500, $12,000, whatever it is that you've got that's going on in there. There is an escalation process that happens through there. And at some point in that conversation, what's inevitably going to be happening is you're going to extend something to them. So you're going to say, all right, here, I'm going to give you, I don't have anything funny around on my desk to use for this. I have a fly swatter. So we'll use a pink leaf fly swatter. So this is what I'm trying to sell to you. Eventually throughout the conversation, if I'm doing business correctly, it's going to boil down to a yes or no question. It's going to boil down to, do you want this pink fly swatter? Yes or no. And they're going to give you an answer, yes or no. So the simplest possible way to understand what a marketing funnel is, why it matters in your business, why you should care about it, all those things, is because you need to boil down to yes or no questions. Now, should you always be starting with yes or no questions? Absolutely not. If I just walked up to you with this, first of all, if I'm walking around a networking event with this weird pink, purple fly swatter thing, and I'm just saying, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Again, it's going to come off as weird. All funneling is saying what happens after they say yes or no. So if I've offered you this fly swatter, and you said, yes, I want this fly swatter, I might say, all right, I have some other things that could help you get rid of flies. I know that you don't like them. I know that they're gross. I know that they're annoying. I had a fly in my office today. That's actually why this is here, because I was chasing around a fly in my office all afternoon, and flies are super annoying, especially when you're trying to do web development work all day, and they're buzzing in your face, and you're like, get out of here. So now that I know that you like fly swatters, and I know this is the thing that you like, I can talk to you about things that are related related to that thing. If I know that you said no, that you don't like fly swatters, now I know that you might want something else. So instead, I'm looking for other weird stuff. I need to have more weird props around for these videos because I love to do that. So, oh, you don't like fly swatters? Well, how about this silver watch? Would you prefer this watch instead? Now, fly swatters and watches, probably not that related. But again, this is how a lot of people do their marketing. The truth is they sell fly swatters and watches and weird pictures and cell phones. And those businesses are really disparate. They don't fit with each other really well. They don't make a lot of sense together. They do if you're asking what's on Ken's desk right here, outside of the music equipment and keyboards and stuff that you've got here. It only makes sense in that regard. But when you're thinking about your business, you want to be thinking about what is related to what. And this is how it all plays back into funnel. So I know if you're a person that likes fly swatters, I should offer you some more stuff that's related to killing flies or getting rid of pests or getting rid of bugs. If I know that you're into silver watches, and we'll just use some examples, you might be into telling the time. You might be into fancy jewelry. You might be into being punctual, whatever it is. And I know what the next place is in the conversation. So really, all a marketing funnel is determining what happens after you ask that yes or no question. So what is the action that should happen? Now, the reason why most people don't ever get to the point of having a marketing funnel is because after 2 or 3 levels of that, of asking yes or no questions, of saying, all right, you want this, now I'm going to offer you this other thing. I'm going to offer you 2 for the price of 1. After we start getting to the levels of 2 or 3 questions deep, that starts to get a little bit complex. It starts to get to the point where now what we're saying is, oh wow, there are a lot of different ways I can go with this. There are a lot of different options out there. I could be offering things in different colors. And for the most part, that's where this all breaks down. Now, for those of you who are still in manual systems, who might be doing this stuff through like Outlook or Gmail or Yahoo Mail or whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to break down pretty much after 1 level. And in fact, what a lot of people are going to do, and the reason why our funnels are so big for many businesses, is you're not going to even be able to follow up after that first contact. And especially for those of you who go to a networking event, it's really bad. And I've seen this happen at networking events before. Like, what might happen is you go to the networking event, you overhear the conversation with 3 or 4 people that are having the conversation that makes sense in what you're doing, and then you go, oh, those are my people, and you stick around those people the whole night, and those are the only 3 people that you meet. A lot of us do that in our marketing or do that in our funnels. We say, all right, only the people that want my pink fly swatter, those are the only people I'm going to talk to. Now, there might have been 200 other people at that event. There might be thousands of other people who are interested in it, but I'm so focused on the people that said, yes, I'm interested in your little fly swatter thing. Yes, that is the thing that I want, that I get distracted and I don't ever focus on the other people. So, and any of you that are in a manual system right now who don't have any type of automation whatsoever, you got to remember that you want to at least get past the first yes or no. So if they say yes, they want this, I know what the conversation's going to be. If they say no, they don't, I have a different conversation to have that makes sense. And I don't just go, peace out, not going to talk to you anymore. That's not going to work. And the truth is, I'm going to walk away from so many potential customers or people who may not need this right now. Like here's another thing that might happen when you start to think of no is not now. Maybe they don't want my pink fly swatter right now, but maybe 3 months from now, they're going to have a horrible fly infestation and they really need it. And they're going to be like, where was that guy that had the pink fly swatter? I know, pink fly swatter, but it's around. We have to use it. So where was that guy? He never had a conversation with me. He never emailed me again. He never reminded me, hey, he's got pink fly swatters that you've got going on in there. So what are you going to do in that case? You got to figure out what happens now. For most businesses, they just let those people walk out the door. You don't see them anymore. They're gone. So now you got to ask yourself, all right, how do I go back and re-engage those people and get them going again and hope for the best and all those types of things? Now, the one thing I want to warn you about with marketing funnels is, let's be real. Not everybody is going to be your customer. There will be some people that never want my pink fly swatter. It's just the way it is. That's okay if that's the case. But that said, I want to at least have a secondary conversation with them, or as long of a conversation with them as they can. What do they want? What do they care about? Maybe they don't want to buy this thing from me, but maybe I have a resource that would help them out. Maybe I've got a connection or somebody that they could work with that would be important for them. Maybe I've got, some knowledge that I could help them do whatever it is that they're doing. The more that I just stick out the conversations, keep checking in with people, keep seeing what's going on with them, keep moving them forward, the more resourceful I'm going to be. So your marketing funnel, when we're talking about that term, again, the buzzword, is that yes or no progression. And it's actually caring what happens if somebody says no. That's really the truth. To me, I think what happens when somebody says no is almost as important as what happens when somebody says yes. Because one of the things that you can look up, and you can verify these statistics, they're all over the place. The latest numbers I've seen in studies say that over 75% of revenue in most businesses comes from follow-up. And then you can read all sorts of stats that say, well, exactly how much follow-up do you need? Texts, emails, all those things. The truth is, you're probably going to need 9 to 11 touches for every step of the way. So maybe what you'll find is they say no 9 times, and then after the 10th time of you asking them, they're going to say yes, or they're going to say, okay, maybe I don't want your pink fly swatter, but I do like your watch after all, and I'll take that thing off of you. So again, the funnel is just the mechanism that sits behind it. It's just the structure of that conversation, and it's a way that you can keep conversations going even when the person says no to a question. Now, if they say yes, it also keeps it going then too, because what it's going to tell you is, all right, when the person says yes, I have another thing to offer them. I have something better for them. I have what they really want, because what they really want is not necessarily the fly swatter. What they really want is how do they get rid of flies forever? How do they get rid of bugs forever? Now, if I walk up to them and say, yes, I have a $5,000 program that will help you get rid of flies forever, they're probably going to be like, again, weirdo. First of all, why do you care so much about flies? And do you really think I care about $5,000 worth of getting rid of flies? Now, for some people, it's an emergency. Like, that's what they've got going on. They need to get rid of those things right away. But that's not true of everybody. Now, again, we want to find those people who do have it that serious, like they are in fly-pocalypse. And those are our ideal customers, or our target customers from the end. But for the most part, people are going to start off casual. So again, all a marketing funnel is the answer to what happens after a customer says yes or no. And even better, at the beginning, when you're starting to build your funnel and you're starting to put things together, you want to think about things like this, like what I'm talking about today. What am I doing to give you a little bit of taste of what I do? And there are certainly other things that you could be doing with me. So for those of you who have not yet signed up for a lead gen event and aren't coming to Los Angeles, you need to do that now. So head over to leadgenevent.com. I'll post that in the links. Get signed up. Come learn all of this stuff about campaigns. How do you really get your funnel squared away? But I also like to be able to give you a little taste and show you what I do rather than just tell you. Because yes, I'll say, yes, I'm a marketing expert. And people will go, that's great. What does that mean specifically? And in that case, then I either choose to tell them a lot about it. Well, what I do is help people get more customers and get more revenue and do all those things. Or do I give you a little example like this, saying, well, do you even really know what a funnel is? Do you want me to share that information with you? Do you want me to help you get familiar with how to put one of these things in place in your business? So let's talk about what you should do next, other than registering leadgenevent.com, which all of you need to do. Join me in LA for this, where I'll be talking about nurture campaigns, and there are some amazing guests coming to that thing. But for those of you that don't get that far, who aren't that far along in the process, what I want you to do is start thinking about that typical conversation, or just picture yourself at that networking party. And those are two different scenarios that I gave you right there. One of which of, if you walk up to somebody that's one-on-one, what type of questions do you ask them? How do you get to know them a little bit better? How do you kind of proceed through that relationship? Or if you're walking up to a group of people who are already having a conversation, and you might even imagine what they're already talking about, what would you say? Or how would you chime into the conversation without being rude or without being annoying or whatever it is that you've got going on in there? So you want to think about how you would do that. And then once you get to a point where you ask somebody, do you want this thing? Do you want my opt-in? Do you want my product? Do you want my watch, my fly swatter, whatever it is that you've got? Then what happens after? What's the experience after? If you're brand new in business and you've only got one or two things, what happens after might just be continuing the relationship, might be continuing the conversation. All of those things are okay if that's all there is, but you want to have something. And so again, when people ask about marketing automation, why is it so important? Why does this matter in the context of funnel building and really just continuing the conversation? The truth is, most of you will never get that far, especially if you're trying to pull this off manually. You're trying to do it in free systems like MailChimp, that kind of thing. It doesn't mean you can't start, and that's what I would tell people. It doesn't mean you shouldn't start now. But really, the way you should be thinking about this is a very simple decision tree. You know, you might think of it, if you're more techie, you might think of an if-then. If they say yes, what happens? If they say no, what happens? Or you use the funnel, which is how do we continue taking the relationship down to the next level? How do we continue building it and building it and building it and getting people to the next level of the relationship and growing them forward? That's all a funnel is. That's all a funnel does. Don't even worry about the word. Just think about the conversations. Because if you can't speak it out loud to somebody, if you couldn't explain it to somebody that you were talking to that's sitting in front of you, if you don't have the simple idea of what does it mean to your customer to move from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, then you've really got to kind of sit back and figure those things out. It's really critical in what we're doing. And again, my name's Ken Korse. I am so grateful to be out here doing these Facebook Lives with you. I love spending the time and doing what we're doing to really make sure that everyone's getting their marketing up to snuff, that you guys are generating the leads you want to, generating the sales that you want to. Again, that's what Lead Gen Event's all about. For those of you who are not registered for that, please check it out, leadgenevent.com, or just stay tuned right here, facebook.com/explore momentum. I'll be sharing lots of marketing tips. There'll always be something to do. Webinars coming up that we'll be sharing with you. And I've got some neat stuff around the corner and something that I'll even hint about right now called the Simple Campaign Organizer that's about to debut. Going to be super cool for you to use for those of you that need to find more customers, need to find more contracts, whatever it is that you've got going. So again, Ken Korse here, about to sign off. leadgenevent.com, facebook.com/explore momentum. If you have questions about funnel and how it works, which I'm sure that you do, make sure that you share those with me. Tell me the details about your funnel, just like I did with Taya a couple of days ago. I'll jump in, respond. We'll talk about what you've got going on. That's my favorite thing to do anyway. Let's do some real work on some real funnels, and let's get moving. Get that momentum rolling. Good to see you.